All right, folks. What we're going to do is we are going to now add on our design to our part one video. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure we open up our part one file, and then we're going to go into the sketch. We're going to add in a few more limitation lines to help us make sure we meet our specifications. So I'm going to go to line here. I'm going to go to the top of my circle. You can see my cursor kind of locks right onto the circle. It turns a different color. So I'm going to click there. I'm going to drag across, make sure I set it to 0 degrees. I'm going to go to the front of my circle here. Front of my circle here, it locks on. And then I'll do the bottom here as well. Now I'm going to hit the escape key. I'm going to hold the control key. I'm going to click on these three lines. I'm going to right click, go to properties. I'm going to change it to a dotted line. I'm going to change the line weight, so the thickness of it, make it a little thicker, 0.02. Then I'm going to change the color to red. Hit OK, hit OK. You'll see it looks green. If I hit the escape button to clear out my commands, it's now red. So now we need to do the same thing for our top view. So I'm going to go to line. Once again, I'm going to go to the top here. It locks on. I'm going to drag it across, click. Get my dots, get my dot, and do the same thing. So I'll hit the escape button. I'm going to hold the control key, click on the first line, click on the second line, click on the third line, go to properties. I'm going to change the layer to a dotted line. Once again, the thickness to 0.02. And I'm going to change the color to red. Hit OK, hit escape, and now it's what I needed. Now I'm going to extend these lines. So I'm going to teach you a new command here. We're going to click on extend. We're then going to come to the line here. So it's going to go up. So I'm going to click, 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 click. And we'll do the same thing for this one. Now I want to turn these into our dotted lines. So I'll hold the control key, click on 1, click on 2, right click and go to properties. I'm going to change the layer to dotted. I'm going to change the thickness to 0.02. Hit OK. Hit escape. And now we have those limitation lines as well. Next thing I want to do is I want to put in limitations so I make sure that I don't make my top view too thin. So I'm going to click on line here. I'm just going to click wherever for right now. I'm going to click here. I'm going to drag it across, go to here. Just make sure I don't click on the green dot for my cartridge hole. Then I can click on dimension, click on this line, click on this line, and then I'm going to type in 0.25. Enter. And I'll do the same thing. So I'm just going to draw my line wherever I want. Make sure it's 0 degrees. Make sure I'm clicking on both lines. Then I'm going to go to dimension, and I'm going to set this to 0.25. But that just changed my whole top view, so I'm going to hit undo there for a second. I'm going to put in a dimension, make sure I have my 1.25 construction dimension. That way it doesn't change my stuff. Now I can go back and fix this to 0.25, like so. So now I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to click this. I'm going to hold the control key. I'm going to click on the second one. I'm going to right click, go to properties. I'm going to change this to a dotted line and 0.02. Change the color to red. Hit OK, hit OK, and hit escape. Now I have all of my limitations. So when I draw my front view, I have to obviously use the back of the car. The nose is going to end between here. And my top view, it has to be outside of this other than where the nose is. So let's draw the shape of our car. So I'm going to go to spline, control vertex. I'm going to go a little bit more than 8 inches. I have had some students in the past who went at 8 inches and then filed and cut a little wrong, and the cars got disqualified from race night. So I want to give myself a little bit of buffer. So I'm going to click here, and then I don't want to use too many points, because if you use too many points, it starts to come out very rough looking. So then I'm going to click on this back line here. I'm going to get my green check mark and close it off. If I'm happy with the shape, I can leave it, but then I have these knots here. So if I want to, I can actually manipulate and change my shape if I want to. I do want to cut out a little bit out of the bottom here as well. So I'm going to go back to my spline. I'm going to click these points. And let's end it there. I want to make sure that I have at least a 1/2 inch here, so we can kind of get an idea of how big a 1/2 inch is. So that should be good. I want a little bit more off here, so I'll go back to spline. Let's say I want it here, here, and we'll lock it to there. Hit that, and now I have the shape of my car. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some construction lines to help me line up my view for when I do my top view. So I'm going to go back to lines here. Any guidelines we're going to make yellow. So I'm going to get my green dot. I'm going to bring it all the way across here. Make sure I set it to 90 degrees and click. I'm going to go to this. This one I'm just going to go to this line, and I'll do the same thing for these 2 points here. Like so. We're going to hit escape. Now is a good time to make these yellow. It's a little easier to see stuff, so I'm just holding the control key, clicking on those lines, right click, properties, just going to change it, not by layer, sorry, just going to change the color to yellow. Hit OK. And now I have my construction lines. Next, I kind of want to get an idea of where I want to put my wheels. So I am going to go to point. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to pick a good spot. So I want to be able to round my nose up here. So I'm going to go back a little bit. So let's say I want it about here. Now I'm going to go dimension. I click on this line, click on this line, and I'm going to set it to 0.25, like so. Now I need to put in my other point. You can kind of see I have this trailing line here. So if I have that trailing line, it's going to be exactly 1/4 inch up. So this one I'm going to put right here. I then want to mark where my axle holes are. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to click on the circle. I'm going to type in 0.1875. And same thing here. 0.1875. Enter. So those are the size of the holes that I'm going to drill. So now I'm ready to go up to my top view. I want a rounded nose, so I'm going to click on spline control vertex. Now, one of the cool things about this is I only have to draw half of the car because I'm going to use a mirror command to make sure it's the exact same on the other side. So I'm going to start where my guideline, the yellow line here, meets my center line. So I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to start clicking the shape that I want. I'm going to hit my check mark. Then I'm just going to grab my knot and I'm going to pull it here, like so. Next thing I want to do is I want to cut out some material here. Now I don't have to make it come the full 1 5/8 of an inch. If I wanted to, I could have moved this, or I could have made that smaller. So I could just go like this and draw a shape, avoiding my red. So this could be my view. I kind of like it a little bit thicker, but if you want it to be lighter and faster, you're going to want to do it this way. But it's definitely going to be a little more filing and sanding on your part. So I'm going to keep it like so. I'm going to make a cutout in my top here. I kind of like the way it looks when it lines up with this, but you definitely don't have to. So like if I wanted to, I could put it here and cut it out like so. But I like to line it up, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to use the green dot. I'm going to come up here. So I know I can go up to this red line for my thickness. So I can grab these dots. I can pull it closer to that if I want to. So the front of my car, anywhere past these circles here, has to be outside of this red zone, other than the end here, obviously. Right, so now that I've drawn what I wanted, I'm going to click mirror. I'm going to click select. I'm going to select the lines I want to mirror. So I'm going to click once, click twice. Now I want to select my mirror line. So I'm going to click mirror line. I'm going to click on this center line, and I'm going to hit apply. Hit done. And now I have an exact copy. So if I were to try and draw this curve and this curve again, chances are it's not going to be exactly the same, and we want to keep it the same. All right, so next thing we got to do is we got to go and put in some wheels. So I'm going to click on circle. I'm going to come over here to my center point. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to type in 1.375. Then I'm going to put in back one, get my green dot, 1.625, enter, and then I can hit escape, and I have my wheels. So next, we need to finish up our top view. So we're going to start by putting our axle hole in the top view. So we're going to start with some construction lines. So I'm going to go to line. I'm going to go to the left side of the circle. If you're having a hard time grabbing onto it or it's jumping around, you may just have to zoom in a little bit to click on it. To zoom back out or to get back, you're going to use this second magnifying glass here on the right. So I'm going to click. Then I want it to be perfectly straight. I'm going to try and make this as easy as possible. So I'll go here. I'll go to the right side of the circle, and I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to do the same for the back wheel now. So I'm starting with the axle holes. When my axle holes go in, I do want to make sure that they're probably on either a flat spot like this, or if you got a big curve, you want it on the fattest or furthest point. Right? So now we need to put in our axle holes in the top view. So I'm just going to go back in my green dot, and I'm going to just extend these lines. The reason I did these separately is because we have construction lines, and then we're going to have hidden lines. All right, so I'm going to start with these four here. So I'm going to click. Oops, I'm going to click on that. I'm going to hold the control key, click on this, click on this, click on this. I'm going to go to properties, and I'm going to change it to yellow. Okay, like so. I'm not sure why I kind of showed that those were being selected, but they weren't. All right, now I'm going to make these into hidden lines. So I'm going to click on this one, click on this one, and this one. Right click, go to properties. We're going to not change the color. We're going to change it to a dashed line. Click OK. And now I have my hidden lines for my axle holes. So next I need to put my tires in my top view. A lot of times this is easier if I put in a guideline. So I'm going to click on the front of the tire here. I'm going to go all the way up. I'm going to go past. That's perfectly fine. And then I'm going to do the same for this one. If you're having a hard time because I got stuff in the way like this, you can always go to the back side too. And we're going to go all the way across like so. All right, now we're going to make our wheels. So I'm going to go to rectangle. I'm going to click on my line here. Didn't select it, so let's try that again. All right, so we're going to come here, we're going to click. I'm going to zoom back out. Ooh, I didn't want to do that. So let's zoom back out, go to rectangle, close. It's going to jump around, it's not, so I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Now I can select that line, maybe. All right, so I'm going to zoom in more. There we go. Now I got my line. All right, now I'm going to type in 1.375 tab and 0.1875, and that's my first wheel. I'm going to grab my hand. I'm just going to slide up, and now I'm going to do my other front wheel. So I'm going to go right here. It's going to want to select that. Got a lot of points, so it's jumping around a little bit. So 1.375 tab, 0.1875, enter, and I have my other front wheel. Now I got to go and do my back wheel here. So this is my guideline here. So rectangle, once again, I'm just going to grab onto that. I'm going to type in 1.625. So this is bigger. Oops. 1.625 tab and 0.625. So that's the back wheel. And now we need to do the the other back wheel. So 1.625, tab, 0.625, like so. I'll hit finish sketch. And then I'm going to make these two lines yellow. So I'm going to click here. Oop, I got to go back into my sketch. I don't know why I closed that. Sorry. Click on this line, click on this line, right click, properties. So they go between the views, they're construction lines. So we'll make those yellow like so. If it makes part of your wheel yellow like these did here, don't worry about it. Not a big deal. All right, so now I've actually completed my completed my sketch. So now I need to go and finish up my annotations. So I'm going to go to annotate. I'm going to go to dimension. So the first thing I need to do is I need to dimension the length or the width of my actual car. So I'm going to click on the nose here. So I got my green dot. I'm going to click on my green dot here, and I'm going to put that in. So I'm going to put it here. I don't care that it's going through my tires. Next, I'm going to dimension the height of my actual car, which is here to here. So I'm using the furthest point, putting that in. You'll notice here, I got my shortest dimension, then my medium, and then my large. So you want to make sure that they're lined up like that. You don't want to, and if they're not, like if it's like this, reversed, all you got to do is click and hold on the number, and you can drag those around and move those. So I'm going to try and get that all to fit on the page like so. Next thing I want to do is I want to dimension my wheels. I'm going to click here. You'll notice it's rounding it to 1.38. So I'm going to put that in. Then I'm going to hit escape, right click on it, precision, change that to 3. Then I got to do the same thing for the back wheel here. Right click, precision, 3. Then I need to mark the center point of my axle holes. Those are really important. It makes it a lot easier when we're drilling our holes if we know exactly where the center is. So I'm going to click on point here. I'm going to click on that little circle. Click on that little circle. So I got my little plus signs there so I can easily see that. So now I know how long my car is, how tall my car is. I have a depth. If you made your car not as wide as the block, you'd want to dimension the two furthest points of that as well. Final thing we're going to do is we're going to add in 2 more title blocks. So when we print these out, we're going to cut out the shape. So we're going to just make our lives easier. And we're going to put on another title block. So we'll do one there. And I don't want to have to type it a second time, so I'm just going to copy it. And then I'm going to do a second one right here. I want to make sure it's actually on the part of the car that is my design. So like I wouldn't put it here like this because that's going to get cut off. So that's pretty much it. So next thing we got to do is we need to print it. So you want to check with the teacher first. And if they approve you, you can go File, Print Setup. We're going to change it to legal paper. We're going to click on Properties. We're going to change it to color. We're going to click OK, click OK. Then we just click the print button here, and we click OK. And then check with your teacher, and you can go to the printer and print it out. Once you're done with that, you're going to have to take the spec page, and you're going to have to verify that you've met all of the requirements.